Hello and welcome back to another tutorial video. Today I'm going to be walking you through Google Voice. So if you're looking to create your own Google Voice account, get your own Google Voice number, learn how to use the system altogether, this is the tutorial for you. I will have links as far as timestamps in the description of the video to kind of bounce between the different things that you're needing to learn. So as you can see here, we are on the Google Voice homepage. If you go to voice.google.com and you have not yet signed up for Google Voice, this is what you're going to see. Now, you're going to need to sign in to Google Voice with a Google or Gmail account. So as you can see here, you can choose between a personal or business use for Google Voice. So if it's going to be your personal phone number, you can use this option here. If it's going to be a business phone number for your business, personal business, whatever business you may run, you can select business. I'm going to select for personal use because it's going to be for me. And then I'm going to select web here so I can set it up online with the computer that I'm on currently. If you want to do it via the app, you can do so on an iOS or Android. As you can see, it says, welcome to Google Voice, a free phone number to take control of your communication. Click the green continue button. This is going to be what the setup process looks like. It's going to then ask you to look for available numbers by city or area code. And I'm going to go ahead and select Atlanta South, as you can see here. And as you can see, there are plenty of 6, 7, 8 numbers coming up here. Now, if you want to customize this number, you can, but I recommend finding one that works for you that is local. So it looks like it's coming from a local number because you don't want people thinking that you're trying to spam call them or whatever it may be. Select the number that you want to use, and then it says you've selected this number. To complete setup and start using Google Voice, go ahead and verify. So click the button there, and then it says enter a number to link. Now, you will not be able to link a number twice, okay? So you can't have like a personal and a business. They have to be separate numbers. So this needs to be the number that you want to link up to Google Voice. Now, if you have a business and you have multiple people who you want answering the phone, you can do that, and that will be described later on. So go ahead and type in your number now, and then go ahead and click on send code, and then it will then ask you to enter the code that you received on your phone into the box here. Once you've entered that code, go ahead and go to verify, and then click the green button that says finish, and then it says this number is all yours. It says don't forget, you can also use Google Voice on iOS, Android, or the web, and you can do that simultaneously. It's not like you're specified to use just one. All right, this is what the interface is going to look like when you're logged in on a computer, whether it be a Windows, a Mac, a Linux, it doesn't really matter. I'm on the Google Chrome browser. Maybe it'll look a little different depending on the browser that you use. As you can see here, you have a little option that says get ready for the call. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do once you're logged into your Google Voice account is you're going to want to click on the audio settings, which is the little headphone icon here in the upper right-hand corner. It says here you have no microphone, ringing, or speakers selected. So what you're going to want to do is you need to give permission to Google Voice to use your microphone or your speakers. And once you click on the microphone, if you're using Google Chrome or another browser, it will probably come up and says voice.google.com wants to use your microphone. Go ahead and click the allow button there to allow the web browser to use your microphone. The same is going to be in place for the iOS or Android app. You need to allow the Google Voice app to have access to your microphone or audio device. As you can see here, the microphone for me, I can hit the drop-down menu and I have a number of them to choose from. The one that I want to choose is my current microphone, which is the Scarlett USB audio interface. Yours may just be a Blue Yeti microphone. However you use to speak into your computer, whatever microphone you use, if you're on a laptop, maybe that'll be your iSight camera on a MacBook. You know what your microphone is. Select that here. Ringing, you can select the default ringing if you want that to ring via your speakers, headphones, whatever it may be. This is going to be basically your output for Google Voice. So I'm going to go ahead and select again my audio interface because that's connected and routed to my speakers. And then again, you can see here you have speakers. I'm setting that to default, okay? And then you can test the outputs and inputs. And as you can see, this green here is moving up and down the waveform. That means that the microphone is picking up. And then if you want to test your ringing and your speakers, you just go ahead and select test here, and that will begin playing back and be able to let you know, is my ringing going to work when someone calls me? Same goes for speakers as well. So once you have your settings set up for your audio devices, everything's working the way that you want it to, I would recommend that you click on the settings, which is the cogwheel icon in the upper right-hand corner. Okay. Now, under settings, you'll see something here that says account. This is going to be the first option here. It's going to give you what your number is. It will allow you to either change, transfer, or delete this number. So if you want to delete and remove your Google Voice, you can do that here under account settings. As you can see here, I can click the change option here, and this will then allow me to change or port or delete or transfer. So I can see that I can actually edit the phone that it's connected to. I can add another phone to connect to Google Voice. If that's something that I want to do. But if I go to change or port, I can select here if I want a new number or I want to use my mobile number. Again, that's something you can do all here under the settings, under change, delete, or transfer. Again, we are back at settings now to go through a couple more of the settings. As you can see, we're going to have the linked numbers that's going to be linked up to this specific Google Voice number. You can see I have one of them linked currently. Messages, if you want messages forwarded to that specific linked phone, you can do so here. As far as messages, the only thing that you can do currently with Google Voice is to forward all messages or text messages to your email that it's selected or linked up to within your Google Voice, so make sure that is checked. As far as calls here, under the call settings, we have outgoing calls here. Always use my phone to place calls. You can select this here. If you want your phone number to show up as anonymous as far as the caller ID goes, you can select this option as well. Under my devices, you can say you can turn on the devices when you want to answer calls. So if you're on like this browser, if you had this selected, you could answer phones as long as you're logged in to the email address that is linked up to your Google Voice account. Next are a couple of other options like get email alerts for missed calls. You can screen callers. You can do incoming options. All of these things are here if you want to. You can even remove call history if that's something you want to do. You can turn on do not disturb here in the settings. So you can go to this option here, which will allow you to say, hey, turn off message forwarding and send calls directly to my voicemail. And speaking of voicemail, this is how you set up your Google Voice voicemail. As you go under the do not disturb settings, go to voicemail greeting. Right now it's the Google Voice default. What you want to do is you want to go to record a greeting, and then it says tap the microphone to record. Just click or tap the microphone. As it's recording, you can see the little waveforms going in and out here, and it will let you know by the circle how long you have to actually record that voicemail. You have all the way up to 3 minutes. I wouldn't recommend recording that long, but you can if you want to. And then when you're done, just click or tap the stop button there, and it'll tell you how long you recorded for. You can play it back here, and then once you're done, you click save, and boom, give that greeting or voicemail greeting a name, click save, and you are good to go. As you can see, here is our new voicemail greeting, and we can play it back. And whenever anyone calls us, that's what they're going to hear in lieu of a voicemail greeting. So we can also get voicemails via email. So if you want those voicemails to come directly to your email like messages, you do that there. And then you can even let Google analyze voicemail transcripts. I like this one to allow Google to improve their voice recognition. Next, we have web notifications are turned off. To turn on notifications, visit your browser settings. This is going to be browser-based as well as app-based, is you can allow Google Voice to have different notification settings. So when you get a message or you get a voicemail, you'll see that notification come up depending on the current device that you are using. As far as payments, I wouldn't really worry about this here. As long as you're calling in or out, it shouldn't be anything more to cost, so there shouldn't be anything there. But you can always go to calling rates here, click on this here and see what the calling rates are for your specific area. And again, if you are in a specific area, you can go and find that here and see what the rates are per minute, and that will work for your specific account. If you want to add to your balance, you can go to add credit here, and then you can select how much money you want to add, and then you go to add credit, and via Google Pay, PayPal, or a credit debit card, you can add credits there. Then we have security and accessibility, nothing really there to speak on. Once you've gone through all the settings, have everything the way that you want, go and navigate back to your home interface. You're going to see your number in the upper right-hand corner. And then as you can see here, we can enter a name or number to save in our contact list over here if we want to. As you see, I have no contacts over here. If I logged into my main Google Voice account, you would see a bunch of them here. And then if you want to, you can go and you can call a number by just dialing them like you normally would here, typing in a number. This is a random number. And then what you would do is you would click the blue button here. That would then begin calling that number, as you can hear, as you would normally call from a phone or a landline just right here. So this basically is like your keypad on your mobile phone or a landline phone. What is that, by the way? Right? No one uses those anymore. So that's everything on the right-hand side. Over on the left-hand side, we're going to see our call history. As you can see, I just called this number here. if I click the button here where it says the phone icon, that'll allow me to call them back again. It lets me know the time in which I called that number. The next option is going to be our messages. If someone sends me a text message, it will show up in this box over on the left-hand side here. If I want to send a new message, I just click the Send New Message dialog box. Right here where it says to, I type in the number that I want to send it to and then begin typing the message right here. The next option below that is our voicemail. As you can see, we have a kind of a default one coming in from Google Voice. All of your voicemails will come available to you here under the voicemail section. If I select a voicemail, Google will attempt to translate it over here in the center of the screen as an email, but you can see at the bottom of the screen, we can just play that back as I'm doing now, and it lets you know kind of what's going on here. So Google will translate if possible, depending on how clear the person is speaking. So you have voicemails, messages, recent calls all up here. And then under the archive here is if you archived some messages or some phone, calls or whatever it may be, that will show up in the archived section here. And then lastly, we have spam. Google will try to detect whether you're getting spam calls. And if that's the case, they will show up under spam messages. But oftentimes real calls and real people get caught up in the spam. And if that's something you need to do, you can kind of navigate over here and see if you've missed a call or a message within that here. As you can see, this is my primary Google Voice account. And as you can see, I have a plenty of recent calls here. I have plenty of messages on the left here. And then I also have voicemails where folks have called me and left me voicemails here within Google Voice. And as you can see, Google Voice does indeed try to translate those here in the center of the screen. It's very much Gmail-like. Everything Google does is kind of consistent as far as the way that it looks. And so it does look kind of like Gmail, and it kind of has a very nice, clean, sleek interface. And so that's kind of why I like it. If you have any questions further about using or utilizing Google Voice, please put those in the comment section below. I will try to get to those as soon as I possibly can. If you're looking for other tutorials on how to use any of Google's other great features like Google Calendar, Google Forms, whatever it may be, I will have the playlist linked below if that's something you're interested in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this video helped you out, and I will see you guys in the next video.